I mean, I'm way further into it than most people actually are. This right here is the only. I'm going to go over the problems that I have. Okay. First things first. No, I am not touching anything else. This is as slow as the scrolling screen gets. I think they locked it onto cinematic somehow, because this is the same speed they do for trailers. But when you hold middle mouse button down, it's way better. Now, this is the other thing. Listen to this guy. This guy sounds gruff, right? Sounds a little bit better. Now, let's go. It sounds too clean, you know? Way too clean. Up, there we go. Something else. Get my shooters back, because I don't know why. Why the hell are you guys still using... Oh, because they can't get up there? Really? Are you that retarded? Yes, you are. That's another gripe. The AI sucks! Real bad. At least in campaign. This is normal, so maybe it's just... You know, they wanted to give both sides a handicap, like the AI sucks in both angles. Pathfinding is not that great, although it is not horrible. The other thing is, as we'll see with the Gretchens, they use the exact same animation. Now, if you watch carefully, two of them will usually use the same exact animation at the same exact moment, and the other two will be slightly out of sync, which I find is fine if you give it that they all are out of sync. That'd be fine. But if they're all in synchronization, it's not Warhammer. It's not even Orcs with Warhammer. That's just stupid. Now, aside from that, the audio is actually pretty good. And I know people are always going to go down about the graphics being downgraded and all that. And you know, I was on the same camp for months. I was actually hating the game for months. And then I tried the beta. It was, bleh. Multiplayer was bleh. Because there was only one mode and it sucked. I don't like the Annihilation/MOBA style version that we have. I hate it. And I'm glad that within the next 2 weeks we're getting a lot more modes and maps. This is definitely a blend of Dawn of War 1 and 2, because now, not only are these combined, the power resource into a node, it's also got the listening post, so you can put the listening post down on there with upgrades, so you can upgrade this as well. So it's not just plopping down generators, walking away with a few capture points. Let's watch these orcs. Can you notice that they use the exact same animation? Some of them are actually using the exact same animation at the same time. It's getting annoying at that point. There are other problems that I do not like the game about. Aside from the fact that I have to go into configuration files to change this scroll speed. Gabriel Angelos' voice was a piece of shit. Alright? But other than that, here's the thing. The game plays well. It's not horrible. People are saying it's the worst game ever. It's the worst possible game that they could ever made. Relic fucked up big time. They're gonna die. They're gonna flounder. They're not. I know people want to think this is the worst game ever. It's not. It's pretty good. Believe it or not, it's really pretty good. I mean, there are some flaws, yes. Performance-wise, everything's fine. Balancing, everything's fine. Oh, I didn't have Gretchen over here. Okay, so there you are. See, that right there. That's another thing I gotta say. These just sound... They sound like something from Overlord, which is a pretty good game. I don't hate it. It's just... I wanted to hear that from Overlord, not another game. You know? Not a game which has these. I wouldn't mind if they had a little bit of a sharper, gravelly tone. Ooh, there we go. Let's go murder the... Oh, you know, I'm going to get the truck over there because I need to get these guys healed up here. Please don't go the other way. Please don't go the other way. Please don't go the other way. Yes, you're not going the other way. Alright, Gretchens are moving up, so let's get these guys over here so I know they're going to come around here. Or, you know, sometimes they actually will go down and up. Some of them will flank. To get this out of the way, I do have a lot of gripes with people. You know, but to get this out of the way, the graphics are not bad. Yes, they're a little muddied, but they're not cartoonish. The orcs are, because that's their bit. They are cartoony, very crazy creatures. I mean, look at this. This is all kinds of shit and bonkers. Look at that. Why is he doing that? I have no idea. However, I don't have the check. Crap. Alright, so we're gonna have to get these guys in. Yeah, so the graphics are not bad. The effects are a little wah, but I actually understand why the graphics are the way that they are. And no, it is not to attract MOBA players, although that could have been a definite goal. It's mostly because, well, there's a process you have to go through when you're designing a game. You need something that everybody can do, great, but you can't kind of do what Dawn of War 2 did, which is basically tone it down to disgusting levels. See, when you tone this game down, it looks pretty similar. It doesn't look as bad, but it looks pretty similar. And you can't have a progression that sharply turns into the completely different direction. It's like you can't have the game look like this for the lowest, for example, and then automatically look like a souped-up, sweet effects version of Dawn of War 2. It does not work like that. You need to be able to streamline your process so that it works for everybody. And this does work for everybody. I mean, look at this right now. It looks kind of muddied, a little bit. It kind of looks like clay form, but at the same time, it's got a lot of little details. And if you look over here, this is just a small example of some of the Gothic structures. They don't look horrible. They look like they're designed for much bigger maps, but without having too much problems. And on top of that, you need to have something that players can easily adapt with in the level editor, which you have when they get the game. Something that neither of the first two really had accessible. I know Dawn of War 1 had a version, but it wasn't that useful. The one here I will make another video on was actually pretty good. And this is my favorite thing, especially with orcs, bodies with viscera. And yes, this does look cartoony for the blood that's dried, but the fact that there's blood and all this shit and there's body parts, I like that. I like that a lot. No, it is not going to look like Dawn of War 2, and I am fully respectful of those who have a problem with the fact that it doesn't look like Dawn of War 2. I'm fine with that because guess what? I had the same problem too. But the effects are actually pretty good. They removed most of the trails. So people who say that Relic didn't listen are just outright liars, because I mean, you can see. Oh, that was cool. I didn't even know that was there. I mean, I should have recognized that on the map there, but holy crap. Let's put those guys up there, huh? What you say to covering this can with a little gore? Oh, crap, I meant to do that better. What's that? I died. So I'm gonna pause this for the moment, but here's the other factors that I have to put in here. The game is not a MOBA. Yes, people keep saying the campaign is meant to gear you to multiplayer. That's not to mean that it's basically like Rainbow Six Siege, where it's literally just a few scenarios and then multiplayer is all you have. The campaign, I'm only on mission 5. I've been in here in the game for at least 18 hours, I think. I've been taking my time. I've been restarting the first matches if I didn't get them just right. And I realized very quickly there are other ways to do certain missions. And I understand where some of these, StarCraft things come in, especially because of the, like the stealth areas, the vents especially, yeah. and the animations. That's where StarCraft comes from. MOBA comes from directly the multiplayer mode, which is stupid, should not have been the MOBA mode, and it should have been a team deathmatch. You can't go wrong with team deathmatch. But no. They had to have a fucking goal like that. Anyway, sorry. Continuing on, I'm going to keep going down this here. I gave the game a positive review, but I've been seeing a lot of very stupid people just outright bully people. I know of a group that just friended somebody and just harassed them on end for an entire hour. I think they just went completely private after that, and they just shut down everything. They just unfriended as many people as they could. They didn't know who they friended, so they had to unfriend as many people as they could. And it just got worse and worse and worse and worse from there. A lot of the hate for this game are based on people who are most likely taking it from a single YouTuber. I'm not going to name who it is because I don't think it's exactly one YouTuber. I think it's a collection of YouTubers who had their opinion on the game well before any of the gameplay was actually released, and people are taking that and running with it. Now, this is like Dawn of War 1 and Dawn of War 2 combined, and yes, I do understand that these colors here, I kind of adjusted to this. The artwork is actually pretty good, but it is Dawn of War 1 and Dawn of War 2, because you got the RTS elements, the full RTS elements. You have resource collection, large armies, you got strategy, which a lot of people think there's no strategy. Ooh, I forgot to upgrade this fucker. There we are. And I know that a lot of people say there's no strategy, that it's just blobbing. And you know what? That's every RTS. There's always a unit that you could blob, but guess what? You can counter those blobs very easily. Sins of Solar Empire, for instance, you could Corvette blob. You know, you could kill an entire 6 planets and their defenses with Corvette spam. But guess what? The second somebody gets anti-air up, or anti-ship, the flak weapons, it's over. Those Corvettes go bye-bye. They're shitty. You can counter blobs. Don't listen to people who say that, oh, it's no strategy. They're the people who have never tried anything other than blobbing and either failed at blobbing to another blob or a counter blob, or they just don't know how to play the game and they just want to make people think that the game is actually bad. It's not. It's actually pretty decent. Yeah, getting further on to this, I'm going to move these guys in. The art is not bad. The lighting is way better. The details are way better. I mean, in terms of animations, and for the orcs at least. Space Marines. You see, here's the thing. Relic actually listened to people. While I still don't like the fact that Space Marines don't have bolter trails as prominent, they are there, and the orcs have them more prominent than Space Marines. But they did reduce the movement and synchronization of Space Marines. So whenever they fired, it actually looked basically like a firing segment, not something that's just a single robot on a giant axis. It works. It worked pretty well. So the animations are definitely a lot better than the first, but not as good as they should be.
No change.
Shut up, Goldguts. We're going our way. But the animations definitely piss me off. Some of the animations are just bad.
Reload! Warmer now, good.
And, yeah, I am going to pause again. But there are some, I guess, small problems for me. Is that, I wish I could put down defenses. I like the idea of being a turtle. I like defensive playing. And yes, there are a lot of people who are right. There are only a few ways to be in this game, and a few ways to actually use their strategy, and that's basically being on the offensive. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can totally go on the defensive and wreck people. Problem is, you have to refresh your units, and the more units you have, the less income you get, so it's slower as it should be. But there is definitely strategy. There are counters, there are balances, everything works in itself. Plasma is great against unshielded, okay? Holy crap, 2 squads of plasma were able to mow down an entire, I think it was 5 or 6 squads of armored orcs. Within 30 seconds, I lost all but 4 marines, and it was actually really fucking cool. And stunning other units is actually amazing. Now, the other major problem people have is with hero units. And yes, hero units are powerful, especially early on, but you can counter them. You can definitely counter them. If you see Gabriel Angelos coming up to you, spread your units around, because once he stuns them, and he does the whirlwind, you know what, you're basically going to lose those units. But he is not invulnerable. He is very much easy enough to kill. Death Watch is the same way. Stay out of their vortex. Move out of the way of their vortex grenades. I know Solaria, the Imperial Knight, was just overkill to some people, but she has limits, and you can kill her from behind. Now, that's another thing I wanted to say about, is that, yes, targeting, different ranges of attacks. Like, if you attack from behind, you don't get a bonus. But you do kind of get a slight bonus damage from height, which I also learned in my previous game, or Mission 4 with Jonah Orion. I'm not going to spoil anything else from that point, but we all know Jonah Orion's here, especially if you watch the trailers. He's there. He's around. And I saw a destroyed Predator tank just sitting in the middle. So it's right here, right? Jonah ran across it, jumped up, and stayed there. I didn't realize he did that. I thought that was just like a box problem or some sort of, elevation error. But no, it was literally, he was standing up there, and he got more line of sight. A slight line of sight advantage, I might add. But he actually was able to hit harder and further. But then I noticed something on the Predator tank. There was a little bit of a health bar, gray health bar, 2 pieces. I had a hunch. I withdrew Jonah, and I put a couple of squads out, and then pulled them back after kiting a couple of Eldar. I put 1 squad behind the tank, and guess what? It acts as fucking cover. Not only that, but it has damage to that cover. See, cover in, standard Dawn of War 2 is commonplace and cheap to use. The cover you find in a battlefield doesn't always exist, and I actually like that little, almost slice of realism. It's not really enough to be realism, but it's a slice. And that the entire thing can be destroyed. And the same goes for buildings, too. Some buildings can act as cover as well. Stay behind, minimal damage gets through, and it's actually pretty cool. But the Marines can't fire over big things. They can fire over short things, but not over big things. And that's something I did like about that. In fact, let's see. Yeah, there's the truck. So let's, I don't hunch, because I'm going to restart this one. I did this too hazardly. Let's go bring this guy over here, and, why the fuck is he... Oh, there he is, okay. Let's see, no, there's no... Oh, it's because it's scrap, that's right, it's orcs. Oh, you saw the trail, yeah? You saw the black trails. The problem is this is scrap, this is a truck, and it's already scrap, so it's not going to have much. But the marine stuff, the elder stuff, and a lot of others actually do transmit, so it's actually pretty cool. Gameplay-wise, it's actually not bad. You can see this, it's not too detailed, it's not too sparsely detailed. It's actually just got enough. It's got more, you know what, no, it's got more details than Dawn of War 2, believe it or not. Dawn of War 2 has better textures, better effects in terms of, the crashing and the weapon fire. But this has got a lot more detail in the maps, and I think that's also another reason why they did the artwork the way they did. Because you can cram a lot more detail with less texture problems. But at the same time, again, yes, the map editors and stuff, if you didn't have something uniform like this, it would just look crappy. Now this actually looks pretty cool, and I'll do a detailed video on that later. So, that's it for now, and I will put up some more videos over time.